call to order this meeting of the Hemet City Council. City Clerk, can we have a roll call?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Welcome, everyone. Councilmember Brown. Here. Councilmember Krupa.
Here.
Councilmember Lilienthal. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Mills. Here. Thank you, Mr. Mills. Mayor Meyer.
Here.
For the record, Mayor, all council members are present.
Okay, at this time we have an opportunity for the members of the public to speak. Do we have anyone requesting to speak?
I don't see anyone in line. The phone lines are open. Is there anyone in line that wishes to address the City Council? If so, please state your name, city of residency for the record. I don't see anyone in line, Madam Mayor.
Okay, seeing as we have none, we will recess into closed session and meet back here at 7 o'clock for our regularly scheduled meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Mayor Pro Tem Nails would like to recuse himself.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll note
4B.
for the record that he will be abstaining on item 4B, which is
Recusing.
part of the closed session.
Recusing.
Recusing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Good evening. Tonight I call to order the regular meeting of the Hemet City Council. It's February 9th, 2021. City Clerk, can we have a roll call?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. Welcome, everyone. Councilmember Brown. Here. Councilmember Krupa.
Here.
Councilmember Lilienthal.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mills.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Mayor Meyer.
Here.
For the record, Mayor, all council members are present.
Great, thank you. First, we will begin with the invocation. First by Pastor Dale from the Interfaith Council, and then Pastor Martin Hernandez,
the youth pastor of
Faith World Harvest
Church, and then Councilmember Lilienthal will lead us in the flag salutes. Please stand.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Let's take a moment now, set aside all other matters, and simply focus on the presence of God within you, however you may describe God for you. Allow that presence to fill your heart and your mind in this moment. Loving Creator, we know all who are here tonight are divinely guided to their roles in our community. We know they have gifts to offer. We are grateful for their answering their call. They're providing what is theirs to offer. May we each be open to receive what we need in the way of guidance, insight, and inspiration throughout this time together. May each one find those answers in their heart that make their difference. For this time, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Father, we just come into your presence right now with every person here, including from our mayor to our councilman. Father, your word says that if a man lacks wisdom, let him ask of him, and he will liberally give it to them. Father, we ask you for wisdom tonight, that every decision be instituted from heaven and not by man, that everything will be according to your will, according to the word of God, according to the plan of God, that this region of Hemet, this region in this city, will submit to the hand of Almighty God. Now, Father, we just thank you that the answer to this city, the answer to this region, is Jesus and Jesus alone. That Jesus will be high and exalted in this region. And we declare wisdom and counsel from the Holy Ghost, from our mayor all the way to our councilmen and councilwomen. And we declare this so in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen.
Everyone ready? Ready to begin.
Thank you. You may be seated, please.
City Attorney, can you report out of our closed session?
Yes, ma'am. For item 4A, we have no reportable action. For item 4B, we have no reportable action. For item 4C, the council directed by a vote of 5-0 to initiate litigation. For item 4D, we have no reportable action. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we will have public comment. Anyone who wishes to speak will have 3 minutes. We request that you fill out a speaker slip and turn it into the city clerk. City clerk, do we have anyone with public comment for items listed on the agenda?
There was one card that I provided to you, the mayor. You have that in front of you. Then we'll proceed with those on the phone. So if you would.
Okay, this one doesn't say whether it's on the agenda or not. Okay, this one is for not on the agenda. Is there anyone on our teleconference line or that has emailed in comments?
We do not have anyone online, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Do we have anyone for items not listed on the agenda? We have our first, Mary Ann Darwin.
Good evening, everyone. So tonight I come to talk about, we have a new crew in town. This past Saturday, we started out. There's a new group that, as I am representing tonight, that says I love Hemet. I know that there used to be a bumper sticker that said that Hemet was heaven or something to that, but I wasn't around then. However, what we are doing now and what we have started is that it's from all groups all over town of all different social gatherings, and we're going to start cleaning up Hemet. A lot of people complain, they don't like the way it looks, they're tired of it, and so what has happened is a group of people have come together and they have created their teams, and we went out on Saturday and we went ahead and we cleaned up the neighborhood in Chocowitz. Part of it is what's going to be is not just cleaning up, but also talking to our citizens and getting out there and shaking hands and kissing babies and seeing what other people in the city want to happen. We're all tired of the way it looks. We're all tired of being tired. I'm pretty tired. So we're out there and it looks like on the agenda that it's going to be happening every Saturday. Anybody is very welcome to join. You're all very welcome to join and come out. And it's going to be a positive. It's really going to be a positive. Now, I have brought props tonight, which my husband said since I did, I must be talking positive. So, but what my idea is with these is if you see these around town, if they're in a lot, that means that we were there and that we care. And that you know that someone did it and someone was there and that someone's showing it. It's not just, you're not just going to walk by anymore. Also, too, we have a thank you. And that'll help also to pick up any trash that is on any open property. We hope that everybody is out there and willing to join. We know that everybody's busy and an hour is perfectly fine. But please come out. We're trying. We're really trying. And so now with the new crew that's going to be out and around, you'll see us. We all have these purple shirts on. So please come out and please help Hemet. Thank you.
City Clerk, do we have anyone here for public comment on non-listed agenda items online or via email?
I don't have any of the above on there. No comments online. No one on the phone. No one here present.
Great, thank you. Okay, next we're moving on to public hearing. And are we continuing this item? Or is this city manager? It says on here, staff recommends to continue this.
Thank you, Mayor. I was reading something.
That's okay.
Apologies for that. Yes, we would just like to continue this meeting, and Daryl, or the hearing. Daryl, I believe we have a date certain.
The meeting will be continued, Mayor, to the 23rd of February.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to presentations. I would like to welcome up Denny Mazingo from the Human Relations Council of our Valley and any other members that are present here today. I have a proclamation to read before we make this presentation, but if you would like to come forward. Whereas during Black History Month, we celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development. And whereas Black History Month grew out of the establishment in 1926 of Negro History Week by Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas the 2021 national theme for the observance is the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity, which explores the African diaspora and the spread of the Black families across the United States. And whereas the observance of Black History Month allows us an opportunity to recognize the heroes of African American history, such as Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, and many more. And whereas Black History Month provides a time for all Americans to remember the struggles of the African Americans for freedom and equality. And whereas the City of Hemet City Council celebrates and the accomplishments of African American past, present, and future, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Hemet does hereby proclaim the month of February 2021 as National Black History Month. And we encourage all residents to join in celebrating the diversity and the character of our community and continue toward the ideals of equality, freedom, and opportunity that our country represents. And we would like to present this to you. We'd like to thank you all. If you would like to take a picture with us, maybe you guys can stand in front and we'll stand in the back. Yes, that'd be great. Great.
With our own photographer here.
Perfect.
You got us in front, not on the side, in front. Come over here.
Block anybody here?
Put your certificate up there. There you go.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Stand front, so we do rapid behind you.
Okay. Watch out. All right, go.
I'll take a couple of photos. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and... Yeah, I can tell.
Can you believe it or any?
My name is Jenny Antoinette Mazingo.
Oh, Danny, I know who you are.
I know you know who you are.
Sorry about that.
It's the Denny and Denny show.
I know Dennis.
And the flash this time. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And one more. Here we go. Whoops. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you, Gina.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Council, yes, we're down here. We have one more to do, so I'm going to have you three stand here. We're going to do one more. Yes.
You want me to go over here? Okay. I'll go right here, Carly.
Oh, perfect.
On behalf of our council, we're very grateful to have this honor. However, I'd like to bring something to the council and to our city. It's a shame that it's only 1 month a year that people of color, of the African descent and diaspora are represented. We need to have this unity 24 hours a day, 12 months a year, every year, and we thank you. Anything? We have a scholarship. We're going over the applications, and we will have them ready on the 23rd for your meeting. And Linda, I would like to thank you because you have come every year to represent the council at Mount San Jacinto, and it would be nice if the other ones came too. Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, we both have some quick to say.
Hi, I'm Dennis Fletcher, and this is my third year in a row I get to participate in accepting this award. And we want to thank you, Linda, for your years of membership in the Human Relations Council.
Did you get my deck? I just sent it in the other day.
I'll give you my home address in a little while, and you can send it over there. But and we also want to welcome Malcolm Lilienthal as a new member and member of the board of directors. So very excited about having him there. And we also burdened him with, we mumbled treasurer and he didn't realize it, so he got elected treasurer as well. So you can actually send a check to Malcolm because he makes some money. And now I want to...
My name's Tricia Morris, and I'm a member of HRC. And I'd like to say that this is the essay contest is near and dear to my heart. I'm very pro-education, and my daughters have participated in that contest since they were in middle school, and now they've already graduated from college. So, but I'm here representing HRC and really wanting to promote the essay contest. It's a great learning experience, and it also brings you together as a family, you know, doing the essay. So if you know anybody that's in middle school, high school, or college, please, please have them give it a shot. Thank you.
And come to our website because all the information's on there.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. All right, we have one more certificate to present tonight. And this is in honor of Black History Month also. The City of Hemet recognizes that we have an historical moment tonight that the City of Hemet has its first African American City Council member, Malcolm Lilienthal. Yes. You want to say a few words?
I thank you guys for the opportunity, especially, you know, the people of District 3 who voted for me, who obviously they seen something inside of me that they believe inspired hope inside of them. So I appreciate all of the people from District 3 for the opportunity to be able to serve the community.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Close up. 1, 2, 3.
I should have stood up here.
Yeah.
One more. 1, 2, 3. There. Thank you very much.
Okay, next we are going to move on to item number 14, receive and file. First we have the warrant registers and also the approval of the minutes. So 14A, do we have a receive and file?
I'll make a motion to approve, or to approve the receive and file on 14A.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Brown for item 14A.
Yes.
Councilmember Krupa.
Yes.
Councilmember Lilienthal.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nails. Mr. Nails, are you still with us, sir? Speak up.
Muted.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Meyer?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0, Mayor. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Item 14B, approval of the minutes.
Yes, Mayor, on that, we do have amended minutes because there were a couple errors on the original that was in the packet. So I would make a motion to approve the amended minutes of the January 12th meeting and the minutes of the January 26th meeting.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lilienthal,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nails.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Meyer.
Yes.
That motion carries 5-0 again, Mayor. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next, we have item number 15, Treasurer's Report. We have our first report from our newly elected Treasurer, Sue Savage.
Good evening.
Make
I
sure
don't
that
know
mic
where
is
the slides are, Chris, so PowerPoints, nor would I even know how to do them, so. Anyway, good evening. This is my second report as elected treasurer of Hemet. Having completed nearly a month of California treasurer classes, it is important to share what I learned with you, my fellow elected officials. Some information will be shared tonight and some in the future. Can't cram it all in 1 month, but 1 month into one night. So this discussion is between elected officials, is for the benefit of Hemet taxpayers. Please ask questions or make comments as we go. First, you need to know if Hemet has enough money to pay $50 million of projected expenses over the next 6 months. Tonight, you're taking my word for it when I say yes. Soon, you will look at the budget, at the money I give you, and you'll make up your own mind. And I will also tell you that night, what do I push, Chris? I'm sorry. Just there, thank you very much. All right. So, let's start with definitions. There's a definition up there. Is $1 million always $1 million? Definition. Par value. That's the money Hemet gets when an investment matures. Some people call it face value. For example, Hemet buys $1 million investment maturing in 2 years. 2 years from today, the investment will pay Hemet $1 million. It's par value. Maybe you like this definition. It's real. It's easy to understand. Par value is the investment amount at maturity. Hemet's total par value October 31st was $97,987,000. There's more definitions, like market value. Forward. I'm sorry, thank you very much. Like market value. That's the money Hemet gets if Hemet had to sell its investments today. Our investment bank calculates the market value we would get if we sold everything today. Daily interest rates directly affect the market value. Using our $1 million example, we would get paid what's worth today. Market value almost always is either more or less than the $1 million. Maybe you were liking the market value definition. It's real. It's what the portfolio is worth today. Or in this case, what Hemet was worth October 31st, 2020. Note market value is higher than par value by more than $1 million. Hemet's total market on October 31st was $99,012,000. Already, I hear you guys thinking, wait a minute, the market value is higher than par by more than $1 million? Doesn't this make Hemet much richer? What do you think about this definition? Is market value better than par value? Are you liking it better? And now that we think about it, why haven't we, as elected officials, talked about selling everything and cashing in our $1 million market value profit? There's one more definition. Book value. Okay. Book value is fair value. That's the money Hemet actually paid for the purchase. Sometimes a premium is paid for an investment, and sometimes we get a discount on the purchase. Using our $1 million example, this means we either paid more or less than $1 million. Book value is the number used by our auditors and accountants. They consider book value to be the real number of our investments. Hemet's total book value was on October 31st was $98,016,000. Book value is the number the auditors use, but this number says the elected treasurer paid $28,000 more than Hemet will get back when the investments mature. Book value equals par value, but only when there's no premium paid or discount received. So using our example, say we had $1 million investment, we got a $1,000 discount, so really and truly our book value would be $999,000. That's the number you would see in the capper. You guys are familiar. And that's the number the accountants would use. So what do you think of these definitions? We talked about par, we talked about market, and book. What questions do you guys have? Any? No? We're good? You can sit down?
Okay.
Go back to selling a million.
Huh?
Talk about that selling of the million.
Talk about selling of the million?
What guy?
Well, that's October 31st value, so what you need is a value as of today, right? And as I explained, that value is constantly changing based upon the interest rate. All right, so the best way of explaining that is you certainly could. Absolutely positively could talk about it. The reason that $1 million is what it is, I'm going to here and now tell you guys Judy Altman did a bang-up job on this portfolio at this point in time, okay? Interest rates are zero. Fed's got interest rates at zero. The reason that that's worth $1 million is because what we're earning in our investment portfolio is 2%. In a zero interest rate market, people will pay us to take our coupon value away, and when we no longer have it, we will earn zero. It's like...
That's why we hold on to it?
That's why we don't sell. We say, thank you very much. It's nice to know that we have a really good portfolio. What that number right there tells you guys is Hemet's financial portfolio could not be stronger. Okay? So, yeah, if you sold it today, you could. You catch that $1 million. But then, for example, the best way of saying that, does anybody know what the investment portfolio turned out last year in interest? $1.5 million. So what you're doing if you sell the $1 million is you're giving up that $1.5 million in interest. Does that make sense? Because now I'm going to get zero. Any other questions? Are you good? Yeah. Any other questions? No. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn this off, Chris. Anyway. Okay. You guys want any more things like that? How is that helpful?
Yes.
Yes.
Linda? Russ? Helpful? No?
Yes.
Charlie? Yes? All right, good. Thanks, guys. We are required to receive and file this, so do we have a motion?
I'd like a motion to receive and file.
Do you have a second?
Second?
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lilienthal,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nails,
Yes.
Mayor Meyer.
Yes.
The motion carries 5-0 again, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, City Clerk, City Treasurer Savage, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, next we're going on to the consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar will be acted upon by a single action of the City Council unless anyone would like to pull them. Does anyone have an item they'd like to pull? No. Okay, seeing that we have none.
Move approval of the consent calendar?
Okay.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lilienthal,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nails. Here. Thank you, sir. Mayor Meyer.
Yes.
The motion carries once again 5-0, Mayor.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, we move on to item 17A. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. As you'll recall, the council did adopt an emergency declaration back on March 16, 2020. The council did request that the city provide an update at every council meeting subsequent to that date. Nothing major to report on our side. Numbers continue to trend downward on the countywide basis. There are some good numbers that we are seeing in terms of city employees. And so as the county begins or continues to roll out the vaccine, the employees that we have that are interested in it will continue to monitor that. And so we are providing information on that. With that being said, Mayor, that concludes my report.
All right, does anyone have any questions for the City Manager?
Yes. City Manager, are we getting communication regularly from Riverside County Health on vaccination clinics? I know that we had short notice on the one that started at Toplitz, so hopefully we'll be getting timely notices of those, because a lot of people were very interested in getting that. I was able to get my first one, so I'm waiting for notice about the second one. So if we can encourage or solicit timely notification from the county, that would be good.
Yeah, oftentimes we get notifications by way of text or social media, and we try and share that as much as we can. So oftentimes we're getting things just as fast as everybody else is. So when we can, we try and share that as well. But
Are those notices from county health coming to your office, or?
no, oftentimes it's text messages from Board of Supervisors, staff members, and it's an informal system that we get information about those vaccination clinics.
Hopefully they'll formalize the system a little bit so people can have some anticipation and know where to look instead of happenstance.
Yeah.
I'm not faulting staff at all. I appreciate you getting the word out as soon as you got the word, but I'm hoping that the county can do something a little bit more timely and a little more regulated.
With that being said, there is a group out of Riverside, and they've partnered up with a group called Curative. So I would encourage residents to check that on a daily basis, even hourly basis, because they do make vaccine appointments available on the fly. And if you happen to check the website when they have clinics that are opened or slots available, they do make those available. So I would encourage individuals to check that website on a frequent basis, curative.com. You put in your location and you get information with respect to whether slots are open and the opportunity to take those slots.
Thank you.
Russ, I have a question for you. So on your vaccination, you have to go back in a certain amount of time. Is that, you're waiting for that to be advertised? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what
Or did they give you
we
a time?
were told is there's a waiting period, and so based on the time that we got the first inoculation, we're due to be inoculated for the second one on the 18th. And they said that we would receive email notification, but haven't heard anything so far, but
Okay.
we might hear on the 17th.
Oh, all right, well.
I know that it's really in a state of flux. Countywide, statewide, nationwide, there's a lot of different processes in place, and the one that we got through the county, that was very efficiently run, by the way, at Tockwitz. We were in and out of there, including the 15-minute waiting period. We were probably in and out of there in 30 minutes. So that was very efficient. I just hope they continue to notify people that, because I know that the cutoff for age has changed. Initially they said 65 and over, then they said 75, and then I've heard 85, but then they said people that got the first shot can still get the second shot no matter how old they are. So it's a little bit inefficient as far as all of those dynamics are going, but the actual process of getting inoculation, county did that really well. There was probably 11 staffers that were administering the shots, and it went real smoothly for that.
And it's appointment only?
Can I say
Appointment
something?
only?
Mr. Milk is online.
Yes, go ahead, Joe.
Okay, on my Facebook, I have a website, covid19.towns.gov, and it updates almost on a daily basis on vaccines, so you can get all your information about the vaccines throughout all of Riverside. So you might want to post that if it hasn't been posted already.
Great, thank you.
I do know that they recommend that if you get if you get the Moderna, you stay with Moderna, and Pfizer, you do the same. So through the county, they were doing the Pfizer. And we had no adverse ill effects or anything.
All right, does anyone have anything else on that item? We're good? All right, we'll move on to item 17B. This is a presentation by Steve Luiso, our city engineer.
So while Steve's getting the presentation queued up, I probably sound like a broken record when it comes to the CIP, but this is something that's been in the making for probably close to a year now. The council hasn't seen an update to this in probably close to 4 years now. And it was really important to get a document that includes some of the direction that's been provided by council in terms of prioritizing the water utility. And so we've taken a comprehensive stab at the city CIP. Tonight we are just asking for council input, asking for council to have a discussion about what we've prepared. To get to this point, the staff has done an incredible job. I'd like to thank Steve Ariso, Lynn Merrill, and the other management partners, management team that we have that really participated in this. You'll notice that many of the projects that are here have already been approved, or projects, purchase orders, contracts have been awarded by the council that weren't envisioned in 2017. So we've done the best to include those projects in this comprehensive list to allow the public to ask questions and get some more follow-up on these items. With that being said, we took this item to the Infrastructure Commission. They discussed it, they asked questions, and agreed with the recommendations within. In addition to that, we are soliciting council input today. We will then schedule this to go before the Planning Commission. Then we will conduct a public hearing for the council, and then at that time ask for adoption. So tonight, we're not asking for council adoption of the CIP. We are just asking for a conversation, Q&A with the council. So Steve, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Can everybody hear me okay? Just wanted to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Great, great. Okay, Mayor, members of the council, I'm really excited to bring this forward tonight. This has been a long time coming. As Mr. Lopez had mentioned, I've been working with Lynn Merrill, and before that, Mr. Tim Holtz, trying to get this put together, and we've been able to come together with other departments, including IT, fire, and PD, also working with the library. You'll see some other stuff coming up on those, but I'm real excited to bring this forward, to be able to share it with you and get feedback on it. So just a little bit of background on the CIP. The intent of it is really to identify major projects to update existing infrastructure, expand capacity, and to enhance the community. You may know, or you may recall previously, back in 2016, 2017 was the last CIP that was adopted, and there was one amendment since then, I want to say back in 2019. The idea behind this document is really a living, breathing document that needs to be updated regularly, annually. As Mr. Lopez mentioned, we just recently presented this to the Infrastructure Committee and presented all the same information that you're going to be seeing here tonight. So this is just a list of some of the recently completed projects. And when I say recently completed, probably about the last 18 months, 18 months to 24. I just wanted to point some out on this list here, just to give you an example. The Stetson Avenue Bridge Replacement Project, that was about $1.3 million. That was completed. The traffic signal project over at Warren Road and Auto Boulevard was $325,000. And then just the pavement projects listed on this sheet alone were over $7 million worth of work. And that includes, over the last almost 2 years, from all various funding, whether it's Measure A, SB1, regular gas tax, or others. It's kind of daunting when you do look at the actual document, and you'll see that there's about $70 million worth of projects shown between previously appropriated, new requests, and future years. But I assure you, those are all projects that are necessary to get done, and we've collaborated with all the different departments. The total budget for just up through this year alone is nearly $60 million and over 60 projects across all the city departments. Below there you can see that there's a number of different funding sources. This is not all of them, but you'll notice there's some more even listed within the CIP document. Towards the beginning of it, you'll see project summary and funding summary, and that information is just duplicated but in different forms. I want to also point out that this document, it's serving as a transition. Myself and then Merrill, Public Works Director, we're collaborating with the other city departments to cover a greater period of time. And what I mean by that is that we're only doing really 1 year right now in this document, and we're looking forward to doing multiple years, all the way up to 5 years where we were in the past. Some other key items I wanted to point out is that it's not just about engineering in here. You'll see in the document, as you peruse that, is that you'll notice that there's nearly $15 million in water projects over a period of 2 years that are going to be done. Nearly $7 million in sewer projects over 2 years, and $9 million in Measure A projects alone over the same period of 2 years. So there's a lot of work that we're getting to with the help of Public Works, and we're trying to support the other departments as well as they need it to go forward. These are just a few items that are new projects that you'll see in the document. I just wanted to point out a couple of them. The first one, the 2020-2021 pavement rehabilitation, is a $1.75 million project. The citywide sewer main replacement relining, that's a big one because we've had some failures, and we've also noticed that some of the pipe is so old that it's actually deteriorated beyond even being in existence. But that's why we have, you'll see that there's $5 million set aside in the sewer fund for that. In well 15 and 16 treatment, that'll be another $5 million, and I'll describe a little bit about what that project is here in a moment. And then in the IT, the City Hall server refresh, is about $600,000, and that'll be coming up in this year, probably extending over into next fiscal year. Just going through a couple of the projects to give you a little bit of background. So I just kind of picked these out as kind of high-profile ones. The Echo Hills tank site and water line improvements. You'll see a couple things. So we're adding a third tank to the site. It'll provide 2 million gallons of storage capacity, and the benefit of that is that it provides Public Works the ability to pump water at an off-peak energy times in order to conserve funds. In addition, the additional storage capacity provides water for improved fire protection. Another one here is the Esplanade Widening Project. This one is funded by TUMP. This one, it goes, as you can see here, from Warren to Sanderson. Now, this phase of the project will not cover that entire length. It will be from Warren to Costin. This project is in collaboration with the City of San Jacinto, and it includes a traffic signal at the intersection of Esplanade and Warren. So what's next? Right now, we're looking for input from the council. Once we get any further input, we're going to go back to Planning Commission, and what that's going to do is determine conformance with the general plan. And then we'll have a public hearing for City Council for the adoption of the CIP. And then after that, we're still going to continue the collaboration with the various departments to update the CIP. We're going to present a fiscal year CIP, a multi-fiscal year CIP to the Infrastructure Commission later on this current fiscal year. And then we're going to end up being back in front of you again right around the turn of the fiscal year, probably in June, to update you with more projects for the coming years and expand this document out further. One other thing I just wanted to share, that the goal of this whole program is really to have a consolidated location of the citywide projects. We've been a little disjointed over time, and we've tried to pull these projects together, but this is going to be a living, breathing document that is meant to be updated annually, and a way for council to confirm that these projects are there and are what the community wants, and to make sure that we follow through with those as well. So with that, I'm here for any questions you may have. Happy to go over any of the items that you see in the document, or any input that you may have.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, Lariso, is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Lariso. I have veterans that commute back and forth to work on State around Esplanade and Crow's Nest.
Okay.
And they have to basically ride, they're in wheelchairs, and they have to basically ride their wheelchairs in the street because there's no sidewalk there. Is there any way you can look into that and see what we can do to get that fixed so they're safe going back and forth to work and don't have to be in the street riding their wheelchairs?
Yes. One thing I wanted to point out is that I believe that's where one of the new developments is coming on the west side of the street. I want to say that that's the SA2 modular. It's a solar project that's going to be developing that whole site right around the, I believe it's Ochoa Fabricating. And I don't know the exact limits, but I'm thinking it's pretty much covering a lot of that. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because whenever we can collaborate with, like, for instance, the Community Development Department and have the developers put in the improvements and save the city's vital dollars, that's what we really go for. But of course, if that's something that you'd like us to consider sooner, we would look into the utilization of the CDBG funds.
I just don't want to see any of my veterans get hit in the middle of the road because they don't have a sidewalk to ride on, that's all.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any comments, questions for Mr. Luiso?
Just a brief comment. Steve, I appreciate you getting back to me through city manager my question about traffic studies at Warren and Devonshire, and also Devonshire and Myers. I think that the dynamics of the traffic circulation at those two intersections, one of them, Myers and Devonshire, as you know, is a relatively new intersection, so it's doubtful that we've had an opportunity to do a traffic study there to see if any control devices would be warranted. But the Devonshire and Warren has substantially changed in the circulation. First of all, when Devonshire was extended all the way through, it's carrying a lot more east-west traffic now. But with the prolonged construction on Highway 74 with the Caltrans Median project, a lot of the commuter traffic is diverting off of 74 and north and south on California to Devonshire to Warren. And so those intersections are carrying a lot more traffic. So even if we've done a survey at some point at Devonshire and Warren, I'm sure that the circulation component is drastically changed from that. So I appreciate you getting back. I know that COVID has impacted your ability because we have to contract out for that service, but I just appreciate you keeping it on the to-do list, and hopefully we can get to it as soon as possible.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. If I could just respond back on that just real quick. I wanted to clarify about the COVID situation. What happens is we need to obtain traffic counts for those intersections, and it's not just for vehicles, it's also for pedestrians. And we go through a series of 9 different Warren analyses, and because those are heavily dependent on traffic and pedestrian counts, we can't get accurate information during the time of COVID because school's not in. In addition, we wouldn't normally do traffic counts in the summertime because of that same situation when school's not in. So I wanted to just make that clarification that we will get those counts as soon as we possibly can, but I want to make sure that we do the correct analysis and can support what we find. So that's why I just thought I'd bring that up for you.
Thank you for that, Stephen. I also appreciate the collaboration with San Jacinto on the improvements of Esplanade. That's going to make tremendous impact, positive impact. And for the same reason that Councilmember Mayo has concerns about a lack of sidewalk for pedestrians, that area over to Costin is dearth of a sidewalk also. So I think that improvement is going to really help the pedestrian safety as students walk to their classes when they go back to classes.
Yes.
Does anyone else have questions, comments? Just one comment. Steve, this is Linda. Just on this, and I know you try to do it most all the time, but when there's more than one thing that needs to be improved upon in a specific block or area, that it all be done at the same time to not having to tear up streets or sidewalks or whatever more than once to get a project done, that if you're digging down into the dirt, you repair everything at the same time, and then put a sidewalk and a street finish over the top so everything looks nice and we don't have to do it again in the next couple years. And I know you try to do that, and things do come up, but it's been, we've stressed that every year, that if sewer and water and sidewalk and the street all needs to be done, don't do one a year, do them all at once. And that's it. And this is a good report. I really like the format. I like what you have done. It's very, very easy to understand where we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and if I can respond on that as well, just to point out, that's the benefit of us collaborating with the different departments, especially with Public Works, because since we are now working together on getting the sewer and the water projects out, we really are taking a very hard look at where these projects need to go, and then that way we can follow through with a lot of the pavement, either in that project or after that project, as opposed to before. The one caveat that we always have is the utility companies that are not controlled by the city. But we do work with them to try to make sure that they are aware. Of course, as you mentioned, as an emergency, they need to come in here and take care of that. But yes, we do have that in mind.
Thank you. I have a few questions for you on here, Steve. On as far as the slurry seal and some of the street improvements, the ones that I have questions about are the ones with the years on them. I know that we've been playing catch up over the last few years, or over the last year or two, trying to get our CIP up to date, right? What's the probability that we're going to complete the items that are actually labeled 2021 when there's the other ones that are 17, 18, 18, 19 still on here?
So as far as the Public Works and engineering projects go, we've already knocked off a couple of them. In fact, the engineering projects, we've gotten through 3 of them so far this year, the pavement projects, so we're cranking those along. As far as the sewer and the water, we are already in design with some of the big ticket ones, and we're pushing those along as quick as we possibly can. As far as getting everything complete, we're going to push it along as quick as we possibly can. I can't guarantee everything's going to be done this fiscal year, but we're really pushing through this stuff.
So we are moving at a more rapid pace than we have in the past.
Yes, to the detriment of the finance department, because they're telling us to slow down. They're getting great crazy over engineering. No, actually the finance department has been great. Lorena and her staff have been really helping us get through this stuff and making sure these projects are going out as quick as we possibly can, with little or no delay.
Okay. The other question that I have on page 2 of the report, the last 4 items are the IT stuff. So there's a lot of infrastructure, hardware type items, and then we have the items on here that are in the IT department. I would caution you for wanting approval, and some of these things we've actually voted no on and have asked for more detail. So I would vote no on the CIP if we had to vote right now, because we haven't gotten the information that we've asked for. So I would make sure you take a look at everything that's on here, and those type of items need to be pulled off if you want like a blanket approval on the CIP. That's just an initial look.
Madam Mayor, could you point which page you saw those on again, so that way I get those correct?
Yeah, I'm looking at page 8 of 86, or page 206 of 284 of the entire packet.
Okay.
It's just on the table of contents.
So it's the library server refresh, library firewall refresh, city firewall refresh, and citywide computer refresh?
Yes, and I look at your entire document and I see a plan, but then I see that when we throw in IT into this, it's not necessarily part of, I understand it's infrastructure, it's a little bit different, virtual maybe infrastructure, but I feel like we're a little weaker in that area, so I just caution you throwing that all into the CIP.
Okay, definitely. I will go back and speak with the IT department manager and circle back with city manager to make sure we address the concerns.
All right, does anyone else have any more items they'd like to ask questions about? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just one more comment. I neglected to give you an opportunity to point out one of the accomplishments that you have is the signal installation at Auto Center in Warren. And I've heard some grousing from some constituents that wondered how we got a traffic signal there and can't get one at Devonshire. So I give you an opportunity to explain how that happened.
Magic. No. Actually, that one was part of a condition of approval on that project for the expansion over there, and basically was primarily funded by developer deposit. So because of the increased capacity with that development, that's why it went forward. Now, hindsight being 2020, the intersection of Devonshire and Warren, with that development that came in a number of years ago, it could have required having a signal there as well. But I can't speak to what happened back then. I just know that the Auto Mall or Auto Boulevard, it was part of the project that was required to be implemented.
Right. Thank you for that. I just wanted you to share that publicly because I think it's important that people understand. And this is a good example of what you mentioned earlier about how DIF funds pay for those kinds of improvements when a project comes along. So thank you.
Mayor, I have a couple comments to add. We'll definitely look at how we can package up the IT items and present them differently for the council. And we'll work through some options so that when you see this again, it won't be as presented as you see it tonight. I also want to make a couple points. The project that Steve has been talking about is creating a bit of excitement with, I know, our Public Works water crews. Because what they're seeing is that the council is having these types of conversations and saying, wow, the council's prioritizing and really wanting to increase the assets that we have. And so they're just really excited about seeing these discussions and the opportunity to improve our assets. And then the second item is, yes, there are some projects that have been there from a few years back. And I've been pushing the engineering team to get these projects completed, but they've done an outstanding job because most of these projects hadn't been touched prior to HR Green coming on board. So I want to commend the new team that we have to really prioritizing this and getting the project done, because these are the things that the public can see. And I know that the complaints that you all have to deal with, the potholes, the streets, really come into play when we're talking about this. So it's great to see this moving forward, Mayor. Thank you.
And what I really appreciate from staff is the fact that we have a first reading, as you want to say, but we really need time as a council to digest this information, to gather input from constituents, and I'm sure that other council members will feel the same, that we are finally catching up, right? We are finally getting to a place where we can check off some of these items off our list. And I know that many of you guys are going to want to, you know, as you get feedback and as you listen to what Steve has said, as you go back and reread it, there's going to be items that we'll be able to go talk to Chris about. And so please feel free to do that so that we can make this a very complete document.
Add a thing that, Steve, I would hope that for the things that are out a couple years or so, that we are going to be very aware that there may be grant funding for some of this stuff. And also that tomorrow at RCTC, we will be hopefully approving the updated budget. We amended the budget at the start of COVID. We are now have the awesome task of increasing because it did not decrease as much as what was expected, and that comes into the SB1 funding and Measure A funding and gas tax dollars, so the city should be getting an increased amount from RCTC to do street repair.
Excellent, excellent. Great. Is there anything else on this item? All right. I think that we can just receive this presentation and direct staff to just bring it back with changes as we go through updates.
Yes, we got all the updates there.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. Next, we're going to move on to City Council and staff reports. Before we start, I believe that the RCA group that Linda's in, you're going to take the lead on that, and we need an alternate for RCA. Do you want to, I don't know, see who's good at it and who do you think would be a good partner on there?
Well, the RCA deals with it, the MSHCP, so whoever is dealing with the RCHCA would probably be very good as an alternate on RCA, since it's all dealing with endangered species.
Okay.
Is that you?
It is not me. Let me see. I think that's Russ. Yep.
You can deal with more species other than even the kangaroo rat.
So Russ, would you want to be the alternate
Oh, why
for
not?
RCA?
Why not?
Okay. All right. I'm going to mark you down. All right. Okay. And then one other on the skate park committee. You and Joe are going to swap out, or
Yeah, Joe had requested to take my spot on that, and I'm fine with that.
Okay, so then that will be Joe and Malcolm then. All right, do you have that, City Clerk?
Joe says he knows a lot of skaters, and the last time I...
Hey, I'm a skater.
Oh, well, last time I was on a skateboard, it was nailed onto a piece of 2x4, so...
Okay.
My experience is a little dated.
All right, well, I'm just making sure everybody's where they need to be, so. All right, Councilmember Brown, do you want to start off?
Okay. The Infrastructure Commission met by Zoom meeting last Monday, and the Public Works Director and our city engineer gave them a very similar overview of the CIP to try to get them looking downstream of things that they're going to be dealing with. And they had an opportunity for some Q&A and a chance to provide input. The Council Protocols Ad Hoc Committee, we have received the newest, latest draft from the City Attorney's Office, so Linda and I will be scheduling a meeting to go over that latest incarnation of it, so we're approaching the finish line on that. The CDBG CD Ad Hoc Committee also met last week, and we did a little back and forth with staff on that, but we concluded our work, so I anticipate that probably next council meeting that'll come before us for decision and approval. And let's see. Our CHCA has not met recently. The Water Master Board meeting is scheduled for the 22nd, right, Linda?
Yes.
And Western Community Energy is meeting tomorrow. And WRCOG, I just wanted to report, in case you hadn't heard, the director, Rick Bishop, is retiring. And so he's been in that role for over 20 years, I think, and his stewardship of that has been phenomenal, and the WRCOG has grown and expanded into a lot of different areas that are benefiting all of Western Riverside communities. So he will be sorely missed, but we wish him well as he steps into his retirement role. And on the, I skipped over League of Cities, but I just wanted to point out a couple of things. We did have an update through the League of Cities and also through WRCOG, and there was a presentation done by Phil Paul from EMWD, and it was just kind of interesting. He gave an overview of some things that I found kind of noteworthy, and I just wanted to share that with you. One of the things is EMWD's water supply portfolio. In 1990, it was serving a population of 358,000. In 2020, population served is 850,000. So it's a big jump. One of the other significant changes, too, in 1990, only 16% of their water was recycled, and now it's 37%. So they've made a lot of inroads in that. And we relied much more heavily in 1990 on Colorado River water and the State Water Project, which brings water down through the California Aqueduct. And right now, that was 66% of the water source. And Colorado River and State Water Project now represents 51%. So where the big difference is coming from is our groundwater, and also the addition of the desalinization that's being done in the city of Paris. EMWD has a plant there, and as we know, there's a lot of salt in the ground here. So it's not that we're taking ocean water and making it drinking water. They're actually having to take the salt out of the groundwater. So I just found those statistics were kind of eye-catching. And I wanted to make a plug for anybody that would like to participate. They offer, the Metropolitan Water actually offers 2 tours. One is the Colorado River tour, which is pretty much a 2-day tour, and you go all the way, visiting all of those facilities, all the way to Lake Havasu, where they have their main pumping station. Fantastic piece of engineering, and it was very, very informative. And the sequel to that is the State Water Project, where you take a tour of Northern California and all the way up to Lake Oroville. And both of those are very informative, and if you haven't had a chance to participate in those, I would really recommend it. EMWD also does a tour of their desalinization plant, and that was just like a half day or a 1-day experience. But all of those are very informative, so you get a better understanding of where water comes from, besides just turning on the tap. And if anybody is interested in that, I've got a website that I can share with you if you want to sign up, so I'll let you know.
Councilmember Kugas? Thank you. The next Library Board of Trustees meeting is February 19th at 10 a.m., and I'm thinking it will be a combination, a hybrid, virtual and in person. And also, Kathy asked me to announce that They have a window display near the kiosk at the library that gives a listing of all Black history books that the students may want to reference or check out for doing their essays on Black History Month. Let's see. League of California Cities, we had an executive committee meeting last night, and there's already a list of about 6 or 7 bills that the league is putting a watch or oppose on. And I don't have the list with me, but I will type it up and send it to the city managers for disbursement to all of us, because there's some real harmful bills that have been presented again this year in kind of a different format, but the same thing is taking away local control, especially on zoning for housing. The Riverside chapter also had a new council member orientation last Friday, and Mr. Males was in attendance, as was I, and I will let him talk about that since he is the new council member. Riverside Transit RTA, the local chapter T-Now is a virtual meeting tomorrow at 1 p.m. And you can contact the Chamber of Hemet San Jacinto Valley Chamber of Commerce for the link to that if you'd like to be in on it. The other is that on RCA, I did attend that meeting last Monday, and it's now under the umbrella of RCTC, which in many ways I think is extremely good. However, one of the topics was on the Nexus study that they did a few months ago, and apparently have had a lot of conversation about. The really concerning area is that while they haven't had any, quote, updates in fees associated with the MSHCP in several years, and to maintain the licensing and contract with the federal government on establishing the MSHCP, they need to buy land, and that part of that process is on development, of course. So while the increase that they're proposing on single-family and housing development is not that great, what they are proposing for industrial and commercial is a doubling of the fee per acre. And the BIA came on meeting and talked about how they were in opposition to this, that we're trying, we're going into the vehicle miles traveled for people to get it to work. We cannot increase the size of the freeways to ease congestion, and at the same time, we want to get industry out here so our people don't have to drive to LA and Orange County. And yet, this is proposing a doubling of land fees and development fees for commercial and industrial. I did check with the city manager, and because they said that city staff had been contacted, and we have not been. So I would urge the city manager to reach out, as I will, to Ann Mayer and find out what this is all about. And the really bad thing about this is that it will go into effect rather soon, and all cities are expected to ratify by May. So I think getting any type of opposition to the increase on the industrial and commercial would definitely be in our worthwhile. And I think a lot of cities are going to be weighing in on this because it, quite frankly, contradicts everything that we're trying to do. Oh. And on that high note, I have 2 high notes. Mary Ann had talked about her group. There's Just Serve is a group of, I guess, nonprofits and faith-based. They are doing their project this Saturday is called Care for a Senior. And it's hands out across the valley. If you know a senior citizen who maybe needs a phone call, maybe just needs to be contacted, this Saturday would be a good time to do it. And Just Serve has a website to sign up for any type of cleanups or any type of projects any other nonprofits or service organizations have. And they were talking about, there's another one coming up, I think March 27th, which is a cleanup. And it's like, just, if you've got a group of people, go clean something. That's good. So it's good. It's a reach out and care, not only for your seniors, but also for the community. So it's good timing, Mary Ann. Thank you.
And I'll let them know the group that they were with, because Malcolm and I were able to go.
Good.
So we'll let them know, because
Everybody seems to be
it's
on the
just getting everyone working together. Absolutely. All right. Councilmember Lilienthal?
We didn't have a formal meeting for the Community Outreach Committee, but I would like to talk about the group that Mary Ann talked about, because I don't think she gave the location or the time. So they meet at 9. They're going to meet at 9 a.m. every Saturday at the Living Way Church. I think that's right in the middle of Latham and Florida?
Palm.
Palm. Okay, sorry. So on Palm, in the middle between Latham and Florida. And it was a awesome event to go to. We went down and we hit a couple different areas, and it was nice to see the community come together and work together to clean up. There was a lot of trash on Palm just by itself, and a lot of trash in different areas. Right behind the church, Faith World Harvest, there's an alleyway in there. There was a significant amount of trash. There's still couches and stuff left there, so this group has started something it seems like it's going to be really good for the community, bringing the community together. And so I'm very proud to talk about something like that as far as the community is concerned. And I don't know what else I was going to say. That's all I have for right now.
All right, perfect. Mayor Pro Tem Mills, do you have a report that you'd like to give?
I've been working with the community outreach people, and a lot of good things are happening out there. The Kingdom Project stepped up, and like Malcolm mentioned, that they're out there on Saturdays between 9 and 12 at Living Way Church on Palm and Latham. And I'm pretty sure they did a good job last Saturday. I was unavailable and couldn't make it, but I'm going to make it on the following Saturdays to be a part of it. But it's a good community project. They're all getting involved. A lot of churches are involved. They had over 80 people there last time, and we need more people. So anyone wanting to get involved in this, come out there Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. And it's just not cleaning up the city, but it's talking to the community, getting to know the people, trying to get them to feel like they're part of the city. And I think we're going to do good with this project, and I'm thankful for it. And it's something that I've been looking forward to seeing happen. So it's a good thing that's happening here in Emmett. So on the planning commission, I missed 2 meetings. Actually, they're both my fault, but I want to get more involved in it, and I don't have anything to say on that. But on the Community Action Commission of Riverside County, that's another one that I haven't got involved in. But I've been on the League of California Cities Zoom meetings, and like Councilwoman Krupa mentioned, that we're both on there, and I'm learning a lot from it. Just hope that I can, what I learned, that I can use and not step out of bounds anymore. So, Chris, when I asked Steve, I think his name was, about that information, I hope I wasn't stepping out of bounds there. So, Ramona Bowl director, I haven't heard anything from Ramona Bowl on the Western Community Energy. I don't know if that involves Southern California Edison, but I got an email from a representative from there and learned a lot about Southern California Edison. I have my notes. Here we go. We're going back and forth, and she's giving me some information on certain what certain things that they provide for the community on helping them with their Edison bills. So I've been posting that on Facebook. So if anyone's interested, please go to Facebook and look at what I've posted. Also, that COVID-19.cal.gov gives you a lot of good information on vaccines that they have out there. I spoke with the ROCS representative and learned a lot with them. Right now, we don't have a full-time ROCS, and I think that hurts us, and we need to, try and see what we can do to fund ROCS 24/7, and, get them working full-time so they can get out there and do their job, because they do it well while they're out there, but, being part-time, it just doesn't work. So that's about all I have. I hope I didn't miss anything.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. For my report, first, Investment Oversight Committee. The City Treasurer will be working on our investment policy, so be ready, Linda, when we get the call. Hopefully we'll be having an update in the next month or so. We are working, she's working on that. Our Vision and Mission Statement Ad Hoc Committee, we had, since last council meeting, we had our council priority session, and we can, hopefully we'll get the next one on the calendar sooner than later so that we can give it to our city manager for his budgeting process. So it was a good meeting. I think we were able to go over a lot of things. So we'll get together next and narrow it down, or at least put them in order, right? Okay, and then, let's see. Oh, and I was able to attend the Salt Creek ribbon cutting, and there is a trail, for those of you that don't know, from Searle Park, and it's a bike and walking trail, from Searle Parkway to Sanderson, and it's just one portion. It's a mile segment. There's also a segment done in Menifee, but eventually there'll be a trail that leads all the way, 12, 15 miles.
Actually, it'll probably start at Mount San Jacinto College. Come all the way through San Jacinto, Hemet down to Don Magoni Parkway, and all the way over. Eventually, hook up at Corona, and then go all the way to the beach.
Awesome. So the segment right now that's complete is from Searle Parkway. So you'd be able to park at the park over there and go to ride to Sanderson. Once you get to Sanderson, you can actually go right and go into the city, go to Sonic for an ice cream, but it's providing opportunities for people to get out, enjoy some fresh air and some active transportation, healthy lifestyles. So that was exciting to see. Okay, ad hoc committee reports. Russ already talked about your council protocols and CDBG.
Yep, already gave that to you.
Okay, and then Councilmember Lilienthal and Mills, did you guys have any work on your CDBG applications that you want to go over?
The CDBG?
Yes.
Okay, yes, we finalized it today. We were going back and forth, and I'm kind of disappointed because we could only give public organizations only 15% of the money, and the rest went to wherever, but we did finalize it, and I think we did a good job. What else?
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you where the money got
Nope.
allocated to, but...
You'll bring it back to us.
I'm sorry?
It'll be brought back to us when the report's put together.
I still didn't hear that.
The report will be brought back to council that you guys formulate. So don't give us all the secrets tonight. Councilmember Lilienthal, did you want to speak about that meeting also?
No, I don't have anything
Okay.
to add.
Okay, if there's nothing else, then we will go to City Manager Lopez.
Nothing to report tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next we have item number 19, future agenda items. Working through these. I'm willing to make a motion on one of them. Item number 11, city attorney function. I'm willing to make a motion to, I will move to remove this since I have seen, I believe our city attorney and our city manager, our JPIA, our other attorney, LCW, seem to be working together in a different way. And I'm not promising that I won't bring this back, but as we go through the processes of choosing a permanent city attorney, I think that I think we could take it off. So we have a motion if anybody wants to second that.
I'll second that. And then just ask a question, that the RFP is still in process?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. So, yes, I'll second that, Carly.
We have a motion and a second, Mayor. Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lilienthal,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Nails.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Lee Meyer.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0, Mayor.
Okay.
Mayor, if I may, just one request. Since we made a couple of adjustments on our ad hocs and committee assignments, can we get a fresh, updated printout of that?
Oh, yes, perfect. Will do. Thank you. All right, any other future agenda items that you want to add or remove?
I'd like to thank Councilman Russ for allowing me to take over on that skate park project. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Just don't hurt yourself.
Okay, with that, we are going to adjourn back into closed session to discuss item 4B. Okay, we are back here from our closed session. City Attorney, would you like to report out?
Yes, Madam Mayor, for item 4B, there is no reportable action.
Thank you. Councilmember Krupa has one more announcement from her staff report.
Yes, and that is Thursday from 2 to 5. We will be having a drive-through Bags of Love at My City Youth. The city, numerous other organizations in town, Rotary, we're all giving little bags of Valentine love to kids.
Perfect. Awesome. Yes.
You want to
be there.
announce what you got today?
Oh, yes. And today, My City Youth presented the city with an award for their involvement in our community. So we appreciate that. And that is at City Hall. So thank you. All right. With that, our meeting is adjourned. We will meet back here at the next regularly scheduled council meeting. Thank you.